going to be giving you ideas of what you can do at home this Halloween this year while you're stuck at home with friends or family or even by yourself. And basically, I'm going to be recommending completely free video games, some Netflix movies, and some other free movies you can watch online if you don't have Netflix. For a lot of this video, I also researched and tried out video games, which made me very scared and I had a lot of nightmares. And because of those nightmares, for this video, I am currently very sleep deprived, anxious, scared, all alone in a condo that isn't mine, and a little bit hungover. So if you see fear in my eyes, it's real. So let's start off with the video game recommendations. Everything I'm going to recommend are completely free. Some of them are on Steam and some of them are like downloadable online. So I will be leaving the links to everything down below, especially for those who haven't tried Steam or haven't downloaded it yet, where you can download Steam and how to download it. So how this is going to work is I'm going to be talking about three things. Number one, the scare rating. If you're braver, like, you're probably gonna judge me at some of the ratings that I made for this video, but if you're gonna judge me, you know, you're probably right. And then after the scare rating, I'm going to give a little summary about what the game is about, and lastly, why you should play it. So first off, I'm going to be giving my 3 video game recommendations for video games you can play by yourself. The first one I'm going to recommend is Doki Doki Literature Club, which looks like a very cute video game. So first off, the Doki Doki Literature Club is something that you can download for free on Steam, but if you really like it, there's like an extension version. The free version that I tried was honestly already so good. And my scare rating for this video game is 5 out of 5. So basically what the game is about is, it's like a dating sim. You start off as the main character guy who goes to school, and he basically joins this book club, and in the book club he meets 4 girls there. You go on and you get to know these girls. You even kind of get to choose who you like. I would say that if you get bored easily, you might get really bored at the start. If you can get through that, you're going to find gold at the bottom of the well. Basically, you should play this video game because it was so well made for a free game. There was so much content to kind of discover and explore within the video game, and the horror of it is just it's not gore, it's not even like that scary of visuals. The visuals are really cute, but the whole horror of it is very psychological and mental, and definitely give this a go. It's really good. The second game I'm going to recommend is called Do You Copy, and it's not a Steam game. It's something you can easily download online. As for a scare rating, I am going to give this a 4 out of 5. I would give it a 5 out of 5, but I've actually never seen any of the endings because I've always been too scared to get to the endings.
Mistake.
Oh my gosh, why is it a mistake? No.
All right.
No. As for what the game is about, basically you're like the security guard at a national park, like a park ranger, but you work at night. And the premise is that while you're working at night, you get a call on the radio about somebody asking for help on a hiking trail.
I'm lost and something is chasing me.
The reason it's called Do You Copy is because you're talking to each other through a receiver, and then you have to look around like there's a map. I've never finished it because some of the stuff that the guy on the receiver says is already so scary to me that I just stopped playing entirely. And for me, what's really terrifying is that you're basically stuck in one room, nowhere else to go, so you kind of just have to wait and watch the whole thing unfold, but make the right decisions as well. You should definitely play this game because I think if you're up for kind of a quick horror experience, this is something that's really good, and if you're by yourself, like, it's pretty scary, go for it. So for the last game for the solo play, it's a free game again on Steam called Flicker of Hope. Now Flicker of Hope I found a little less scarier than the last 2 games I mentioned, so I'm giving it a 3 out of 5 rating. Basically the game is very similar to this game called Little Nightmares, wherein you kind of run around and try not to get caught by the monsters. So in this game you're a candle and you have to like replenish your wax and run around, and there are like monsters and zombies there, and you have to reach the end without any of them finding you. But they're gonna find you. They know where you are. I know where you are. And you should play this game if you're more for like an actual video game where you like run around and you have tasks. More of an action-based video game. That's why you should play it if that's what you're looking for. Now moving on, we're going to be going to the multiplayer side of the video games. So for the multiplayer, I have 3 games to recommend. The first one is called We Were Here. Now, We Were Here has a rating of 4 out of 5. It wasn't that scary that it deserves a 4 out of 5 rating, but it's honestly such a good game for a free game. I super enjoyed it, and 4 out of 5 just for overall, it's awesome.
Dude, that's awesome!
So We Were Here is played with 2 people on Steam. It's literally an online escape room. So the story is that you guys are 2 skiers or snow hikers, and you get lost and you find this castle and you get separated from each other. So you and your partner talk to each other through a walkie-talkie, and it works like a real walkie-talkie, so you can't talk at the same time. So basically, one of you guys is the librarian and the other one is the explorer. So the librarian does a lot of the thinking stuff more, and the explorer kind of just like runs around and stuff like that. It gets pretty scary sometimes, but it's more of like really creepy, and you really have to work together with your partner to solve the puzzles. You should play this game because generally playing it with a friend like really builds your camaraderie. It really forces you guys to think and work together. I really love this game. I can't recommend it even more. The second multiplayer game that I'm going to recommend is called Cry of Fear. And as for the scare rating, I would give it a 3 out of 5, maybe 4 out of 5. It's a very old video game. To me, it has a very similar style to like Silent Hill, so you're kind of just like running around discovering stuff, but you also have a weapon, and basically you start off as like a photographer and you're like running around taking pictures of stuff, which is honestly really scary. Yes, I did scream a lot. But basically, it was pretty scary watching it, even if I wasn't playing it myself. The map is pretty big for an old game. Definitely, I mean, you're not spending anything for it, and it's an interesting game. You can try out multiplayer with it. I think it's also up to 2 people, so that's why you should play the game. Next up, and the last one, is called Granny's House. Granny's House is a mobile app that's kind of like a hide-and-seek game. So I also tried this with my friend, and as for a scare rating, I would give it a 2 out of 5. It's not really scary at all, if I'm being honest, but the graphics are kind of scary. Granny's House is about just like kids who go to Granny's house, and Granny is like the capturer, you know, when you play like hide and seek. When you guys all enter a channel or a game, one person is chosen to be Granny, or 2 people are chosen to be Granny depending on how many people there are, and everyone else is the kids. So you're kind of just like running around trying to escape, and the grannies are trying to capture everyone. You should play this game because it can hold up to 8 players, so if you are like a big barkada, it's something that you guys can all play together, not just 2 people. And another reason you should play it is it's so easy to download. It's just straight into your phone. You don't need a laptop, you don't need Steam, and you guys can easily already have kind of scary night together on Halloween. So for the movies, first off, I'm going to teach you guys how to use the Netflix/YouTube Party extension. Basically, you have to be using Chrome for this. You have to get the Chrome extension for Netflix called Teleparty. As soon as you install the Teleparty Netflix extension, open up the Netflix movie that you want to watch, click the extension, and then click start and send the link to friends. There is like a watch party extension for YouTube called YouTube Party, but it doesn't work as well as the Netflix Party extension, but it works pretty much the same way. Just get the extension, open up the video that you want to watch, click the extension, and send the link to friends. Once again, I will be leaving links down below. Let's start off with the Netflix movies, and my first suggestion is called His House. For His House, I'm going to give it a scare rating of 4 out of 5. What I really loved about this movie is that the horror of it it's just not the typical horror style movies that we see often. So basically what it's about is this couple moves from like a war-ridden area, and they go to, I think, somewhere in the UK, and basically they move there because, again, they're like refugees. In order to like immigrate, when they put you in a house so that you can immigrate, you kind of have to like keep a perfect track record. You're not allowed to like complain or anything. Like, they're very strict about it. Turns out that the house that they're put into, or that they move into, has like a lot of ghosts. I don't want to spoil anything, but maybe it's not the house. It's a really good movie. I think you should watch it because aside from being like a really good horror movie, like aside from being really scary. It touches on a lot of like very real topics and very real issues that we have in society today, and explores a lot about like relationship dynamics between a couple, people's goals and the things that they want in their life, and of course about like war and people's culture. So I think that's also really cool. Moving on for my next suggestion is Creep. As for the scare rating for this movie, Creep, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 because let's just say, as I talk a little bit more about it, after I watched this movie, I could like not be alone by myself, and I just didn't want to meet any strangers. So, and actually maybe everybody should watch it so that everyone will stop going out. Maybe the cure for COVID-19 is not vaccinations. Maybe it's not wearing a mask. Maybe it's not government action. Maybe it's a horror movie that will scare you to staying home and not talking to anybody. So what Creep is about is that it starts with the POV of this filmmaker. And this filmmaker gets hired by like somebody on Craigslist or something like that to document his life, like a day in my life vlog, but somebody else is filming it for the guy. And you're basically following this guy through the lens. The person that he meets online to document his life is a creep. And honestly, I just gotta say, the acting of this guy, it's so creepy. The little mannerisms, the way he looks at you, which is looking at the camera. And what really made me so scared about this movie was like how real the acting was. I think if you have the patience to really sit down and kind of just see what happens and how it unfolds, you'll really enjoy it, and it's creepy. It's really creepy. So for our third movie on Netflix, it's called Veronica, and I would give this a scare rating of 4 out of 5 because once again, I have not finished this movie, but from the first like 30 minutes of watching it, I was already so freaked out. So what this movie is about is like, it's basically like the typical horror movie. It's like these high school girls who get a Ouija board, experiment with stuff that shouldn't be experimented with, and scary stuff happens. More of the visuals that were really scary in this movie. And I think it's not in English as far as I remember, so yeah, you know what, we try to be educated and watch international movies with subtitles because we're not trash. For the last thing that I'm going to recommend what to do on Halloween for a movie to watch, I really wanted to have Filipino horror movie included. I think it's always nice to watch Filipino movies because honestly, there's something close to home. The movie that I'm going to suggest is called Seclusion, and it's not on Netflix, it's on YouTube, and it's free. For the scare rating for this movie, I would give it a 3 out of 5, maybe a 4 out of 5. Basically, the reason it's called Seclusion is because it's when priests like keep to themselves. They basically don't interact with anyone for 1 week. It's like a silent retreat basically, and it's their time to reflect before they take their vows to become a priest. I don't know if that's the real like method or whatever, but that's basically the story of this. There's a lot about Filipino culture and other like local beliefs that I'm not super familiar with, so I don't want to talk about it like I know it. But I would say that I was really impressed having watched it in the cinema. I just really like the whole like plot of the story. There were a lot of plot twists that I wasn't expecting with Filipino horror movie that I would suggest, because honestly the other Filipino horror movies I watched are like Shake, Rattle and Roll or like Tik Tik Aswang. So those aren't necessarily that scary. So yeah, those are my recommendations of what to do with this Halloween, games to play, movies to watch, and how to do it. And please don't forget to like if you like the video, and if you're into fashion, vlogs, or overall like content like this, please subscribe for a new video every other Friday or every Friday. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week. Oh, and have a happy Halloween.